Every day that I wake up in a country that isn't run by the PNM is a good day to be a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. You know, it's amazing the pot calling kettle black phobia that surrounds this island, this tiny little island we have. Because I am sitting down the other day and looking at a post from Colm Imbert that would have come over Twitter where he's referring to the UNC as the most draconian government that this country has ever had. And I'm looking at the comment and I'm laughing. And the thing that made it so amazing is, you see, when you really want to see the nasty little mean things that Colm Imbert does actually say, you have to follow him on Twitter. Because he says a lot of things on Twitter and he gets away with it because he knows most PNM voters don't have a Twitter account. So they won't get to see the things that he would post. But me, I follow him. I make sure and get my good source of Colm Imbert every day. And most of the time, he always tends to be uttering some kind of nonsense, always pushing some agenda. You see, he loves to attack poor people. It comes off like he just get a rise out of it. And when I sat down and I looked at the post, the thing that ran through my mind was the amount of things that government would have done to us in the 9 years that they was there. And a lot of those things, he would have been the front runner for pushing those agendas. And I sat down and I said, you know what? Today would be a good day to just kind of look at some of the past things that would have come out of his mouth and some of the utterances that he would have dropped that, you know, people, it's like PNM people have a short-term memory. They just forget the kind of things that would have came out of him and Dr. Rowley's mouth under the tenure. So today, you know, I was just kind of looking at the whole atmosphere with the CPEP, the idea that the UNC wants to give everybody ID card, which I think is a brilliant idea. You should be made to walk with a form of ID at all times. It should be treated as a driver's permit or anything else, because most of the time when you have to source something or find out information about somebody, most of the time they don't have the IDs, and that can make things a bit difficult. And I think we are heading in the direction, the world is heading in the direction of everybody's identification needs to be known. So I think it's a great idea. But Colm Imbert, clearly, he doesn't feel that way, right? He was talking about if he's jogging, why should he have his ID? If you're jogging, you just have a phone. You just have your headphones in your ears. So why you can't take a picture of your ID and have it on your phone? I do. It just in case of an emergency or in case I need to do something, I always have a photo of my ID somewhere on me. So I think it's a brilliant idea. But not only that, I was paying attention to what's been going on in the CPEP. And I've been telling everybody, when PNM thief, they just have more practice. So when they thief in, it don't look like they're doing anything. And I've been watching how all these things, and I have to say big up Barry Padarat, who is digging. This man is digging. And UNC, you all are doing exactly what I was hoping you all would have done when you all came into government. Audit everything. So I want you all to pay attention to this remark that was made by Colm Imbert, because this thing to this day still irks me that it came out of his mouth. And I'm so glad that Senator Roberts took him to task on his statement, because even right now, I'm dealing with a situation where a young lady would have lost her mother, and now that her mother is gone, she's having problems to pay just for the funeral and the funeral arrangements. So imagine a case where this, what Colm Imbert is saying here, right, was to take place.
Let me explain the concept of deferral. If you're an elderly, financially challenged person and you can demonstrate that you cannot pay property tax of $600 a month, which I am sure many pensioners will be able to demonstrate easily, because the fact that you are on old age pension means that, or senior citizens pension as it's called now, you have to demonstrate to qualify for senior citizens pension, you have to demonstrate that you have no income. Therefore, personally, that would automatically get a deferral. And the deferral means that it is deferred for all time that you are in that situation. In that situation. So you're 70 years old, you're in receipt of a senior citizen's pension. One does not expect your situation to improve. You may pass away at age 75 or whatever it is, or age 80 or age 90 as the case may be. And what would happen now is the property would now be inherited by somebody else. That person may be a very wealthy lawyer, like somebody in front of me. And that person who inherits the property now will now be required to pay the tax because they no longer are in the financially challenging situation that the pensioner was. So that the pensioner will pass on the property to a wealthy person. And that person is no longer in the situation where they could continue with the deferral. It's common sense.
And then the Honorable Minister said he's going to define deferral for us, as if we need his intellect. The day I need his intellect is when I come down from 5'10.5" to something shorter. I don't need his assistance in understanding deferral. Deferral, he said, well, elderly people who cannot afford his property tax, it will be deferred until, for in perpetuity, whatever he said, until they're dead, right? So 20 years deferral. And then, miraculously, all these elderly people will have a rich lawyer daughter. Really? They have so many? That's what his argument was. That when the tax accumulates and is deferred, when the unfortunate event occurs and elderly people pass on, that whoever is left to inherit the property will have to pay every last cent. And his justification is that the child will be rich. Where is he living? What fantasy world does that Honorable Minister of Finance live in to come in this Senate and talk that kind of nonsense?
So imagine that. Imagine Andrew Roberts had to let him know, well, listen, you believe everybody out here have some kind of wealthy lawyer family that could do this? You genuinely believe that when these young people inherit this property tax, they would be able to pay it? This was Colm Imbert's brilliant idea to force this on the public. And the PNM voter base, they were just there eating it up. Yum, 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 yum. Tastes so good. Feed us more. Not understanding that they were setting up themselves to have the state seize their assets, which would eventually end up in the friends and financiers' hands. They couldn't see that. They were actually willing to let the PNM go forward with this. But not only that, I told you all that I had a clip somewhere and I had to dig. I had to really dig to find this clip. Because I remember how Keith Rowley, people are in an uproar because of what Kamala Persad-Bissessar is doing with CPEP. Right? But I want you all to pay attention to this statement that was made by Keith Christopher Rowley right here.
Have morning walk. Right? Where by 7 o'clock in the morning, and I could tell you, once in a while I'm here in the morning and I'm going up to my farm at 7 o'clock. And the workers who cutting the road, cleaning the road in morning walk, I didn't see them, but I see that they were there because they cut 20 feet of grass. Right? And that is supposed to be a job. And if you don't get that, you wouldn't vote for somebody. But let me tell you all something. If that is how you vote, and that's what you vote for, you will suffer after election day until the next election. That's what happens.
So as you all could see, Keith Rowley basically said that he knows that CPEP does come and do a work. And when they do the work, they'll leave by a certain time. He know they was there, but he didn't see any of them. But he said, if you all doing a work, if you all are saying that if all you don't get this work, it will determine, right, if you all will have a work when I win election, that will never happen. So basically, you're seeing here again where this is not a contractor, because I showed you already contractors were trying to extort CPEP workers, right, for not showing up to vote. This is a statement now being made by the former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, telling CPEP workers that if you all don't vote, if the requirements for you all to vote is a CPEP work, take care, come the next election, you all wouldn't have a work again. Imagine that. So automatically, if I hear that, what would I do? Not vote for the PNM? Because I want my work. I don't want to lose my work. So I go vote PNM. But no. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, they haven't covered that PNM contractors, PNM councillors to be exact, are filling their pockets off of government contracts through CPEP. And when I called out a certain community in Lavantil under Kareem myself for leaving garbage on the ground that was in a terrible condition leading up to the election, a councillor from the PNM came onto my Facebook platform and cussed me for doing it. And I said, the reason why you're cussing me for doing it is because the community informed me that he, the councillor of the community, does not clean up the garbage, but he eating our good food. So here it is. You could see where they uncovered this year. And I want all you to listen to what they said.
And CNC3 News can reveal that San Fernando City Councillors, past and present, have received multi-million-dollar CPEP contracts. Joshua Simongal investigates.
Two separate companies owned by a current San Fernando City Corporation councillor and a former councillor received CPEP contracts worth close to $10 million from 2020, the Guardian Media Investigative Desk can reveal. The first company, Kudos Cleaning Maintenance Company Limited, is owned by PNM's Monrepo Navet councillor Nigel Cotier and a close female relative. Between February 2022 and March 2023, Kudos Cleaning received two contracts worth $3.7 million. The first contract was a one-year agreement from February 2022. The second contract is a 6-year deal signed in March 2023. Cotier was elected as a San Fernando councillor in the 2019 local government elections. He was re-elected in 2023. CNC3 News wrote the Integrity Commission seeking to find out whether Cotier filed Kudos Cleaning in his public life documents. The commission said it could not legally share the information. The Integrity Commission mandates that all public life persons must file income, liabilities, and registrable interests annually. A second company, Marisho Maintenance Limited, was awarded $6.7 million in contracts between March 2020 and 2023. As of 2018, Marisho Maintenance lists its directors as former Marabella West Councillor Jennifer Marisho and her daughter Jamila Marisho St. Hill. Jennifer was a former Southwest Regional Health Authority Director, while Jamila was the PNM's candidate for Marabella West in the 2023 local government elections. The contracts were signed despite the company being struck off from the company registry. When a company is struck off, it can no longer legally engage in business activities, as it ceases to be a legal entity. CNC3 News sought comment from the councillor, Cotier, and Mayor Robert Paris, but did not get one. Marisho Director Jamila Marisho St. Hill told CNC3 News that she had nothing to say on the issue. Councillor Cotier, however, found time to upload and post a video to his Facebook page. In announcing a full audit of CPEP in early June, Public Utilities Minister Barry Padarath accused the PNM of using CPEP as a means to reward party loyalists. He claims some contractors received as much as $50,000 monthly in management fees. Joshua Simongal, CNC3 News.
In response, former CPEP chairman Joel Edwards told CNC3 News that he didn't see any conflict of interest with a sitting councillor getting a contract, telling us, quote, "I never paid attention to the names of the contractors or the owners of the companies. In any event, these contracts would have been awarded before my time at CPEP."
So here it is, you are seeing tens of millions of dollars in contracts given out by the PNM to their friends and financiers and councillors. But here it is, the CPEP. The PNM is running a campaign right now. We're going to fight for the CPEP workers. The workers on them home. They're on the breadline. Yes, they're on the breadline. Yes, they can't eat and drink good right now. But let me ask all you a question. Who been eating and drinking good for the last 9 years? Because clearly, those CPEP workers didn't get no contract for no $3 and no $6 million. So again, when UNC win, everybody win. But it seemed like when PNM win, only the financiers and the councillors and the MPs and the government itself was winning. What happened to the people on the bottom? And this is why I said this United National Congress government has a serious mandate and a serious task at hand to root out the corruption that was done by the PNM in the last 9 years. And if it means that we have to fire every last one of PNM employees that they would have put in these places to ensure the corruption continues, I support the UNC 110%. Send them home. Send every man jack home. If you all agree with me and you made it this far in the video, make sure like and subscribe. And let us have a conversation in the comment section about what you all just saw. Tell me what you all think about contractors and councillors. Councillors having $3 and $4 million contracts under the PNM. Let us also talk about what the Prime Minister said, because apparently nobody in remember he said that. So let's have a conversation about what the Prime Minister also said about taking their jobs away from them, because that is what it takes for them to vote. CPEP has always been a tool for the PNM. And now the United National Congress is setting it straight. And I am all here for it. Make a better version of yourself, everybody, and we'll pick up next time.